Wow. What an absolute shambles that was of a performance. Well, at least I didn't have to change my score on my thumbnail. It was 4-1 Blades in the last game. It was 4-1 Coventry in this game. So I hadn't had to change it in the slightest. I wish I had done, though. Geez, what a terrible defensive performance that was. Now, the attacking performance wasn't the best I've seen all season, but we scored a goal. We've not been conceding many goals as of late. One maximum, really. Can't remember the last time we even conceded 2 goals. So to concede 4 goals in one game, do you know what? I did not think I would see that under 𝐍𝐸𝐫𝐶. I really, really didn't. Now, it's happened against West Brom. I think it was 3-1 against Blackburn. I may be wrong. It may have been 4-1. But they're the only 2 games this season where I've seen us be absolutely dominated from start to finish. Now, we had a few chances early on in this game, but we were dominated for pretty much all of it. Let's be honest. Just absolutely one of the worst games I've seen all season. And yeah, like I say, I'm throwing that in with Blackburn and I'm throwing that in with the West Brom game as well. So yeah, where do we start? Well, we scored a goal really early on, 16th minute. Not massively early on, but yeah, we scored a goal. We went 1-0 up. Who would have thought it in this game that we went 1-0 up? But Sander Berge scores a header. Now, watch that a million times, please, because you will never see Sander Berge score a header again in his career. It was a well-taken header, I've got to be honest. A really, really great flick to the back post from Conor Hourihane. It kind of just kept firing across the box, and then Hourihane had the kind of the intelligence. So instead of just smashing it across the box, see Berge at the back stick and just clip it over. He still had a lot to do, though. It wasn't a sort of tapping at the back post. He had to find that top corner, which he did, and Simon Moore was scrambling. But it was a fantastic header. It really, really was. So well done, Sander Berge. It's probably the only thing I'm going to say that he did well in this game, to be honest, though. We will get there. There are some rants that are coming. Don't worry about that for a second, guys. 21st minute, 5 minutes later, 𝐍𝐸𝐶 scores for Coventry. Now, I said on Twitter, is this the most schoolboy goal you will ever see us concede? And really, that is saying something this season, because we've conceded a hell of a lot of terrible goals this season. So it was just a big boot from literally the furthest Coventry player, other than Simon Moore, furthest away from our goal anyway. So he gets it on that right-hand side. Hourihane's sort of closing him down, but he doesn't think he really needs to. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he needed to either. It would have been nice to have seen him closing down a little bit more, but he's not expecting the ball to get smashed from their defence and then straight onto it from one of their players. It was like a Sunday League, or not even a Sunday League goal. It was like a under 12s and younger goal, really. It was a big boot from the back. I don't know whether the wind took it, or I don't know whether Jack Robinson just completely misjudged it. But this is the sort of error that Robinson was making 7, 8, 9 games ago, something like that, under 𝐍𝐸𝐶. And that's what led him to be kind of frog-marched out of the team. He had a bad game today. He had a terrible, terrible game today. But he wasn't the only defender. He really wasn't. But it wasn't just that. There was 3 mistakes for me in that goal. First and foremost, Jack Robinson missing the header. Secondly, Egan just left his man. He was like, oh, he'll be fine. Jack Robinson's going to win that ball. But you can't just leave your man like that. You really can't. If he should be watching the ball, coming over and trying to anticipate where the ball's going himself. And yeah, I can kind of see why you let him go. But at the same time, when you concede a goal like this, you've got to look at Egan for not tracking his man too, because he did come from Egan. And then finally, I'm not expecting Wes to save every one-on-one this season. And don't get me wrong, he saved a lot of one-on-ones, and he also saved a lot of one-on-ones today. But he kind of went down to his knees to try and save it. And if he'd have tried to save it with his legs, with his feet, he'd have saved that comfortably. It went right next to his body. Now, again, it's always difficult to save a one-on-one. You've got to make a snap decision just when the player's about to shoot, because if you make a decision too early, he's going to take it round you. If you make it too late, the ball's in the back of the net. And he kind of just, like I say, went to his knees and tried to use his hands next to his knees, which I found a bit odd. But the ball's in the back of the net. It's not. I'm not blaming Wes completely. I just thought he could have done better with that one, to be honest. And actually, I thought he could have done better with a few others today as well. So yeah, they're back in the game, 1-1. I'm thinking that, come on, Blades, let's go and get another one. Let's quieten the crowd down. Hourahan hammers a volley, or a half volley, should we say, just wide of the target. Very, very good shot. Was always going wide, though. That was around the 25th minute, something like that. And at this point, all I'm seeing is long balls from Coventry, which I'm not against at all. Don't get me wrong. Long balls and us just not being able to deal with them. Now, again, I don't know whether it was just the wind playing a part in the game, and we were just kind of too high as a line and we were just getting caught all the time. But it wasn't just long balls. It was balls around the sides. They were through. They were through 3-on-2 loads of times today. 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3. We've got 5 defenders. 5 defenders. Now, you might call them 3 defenders, but when we are defending, it should be 5 defenders, not 3. And it was just loads of through balls and long balls that we were just getting caught constantly, and we just couldn't deal with it at all. So really, I'm blaming the whole defence. I don't think one defender today, including Ozzy, who I think Ozzy's been brilliant in the last 2 games. Ozzy didn't have a good game. Norrington Davis didn't have a good game. And the 3 centre-backs didn't have a good game. I don't even think Wes was probably the man of the match. And I still don't think Wes had that good a game, because a lot of the saves that he did make were kind of at him. And he still had got to save them. But a lot of the saves that he did make, that a lot of people say, oh, yeah, he deserves man of the match for that. He saved, but if he didn't save them, you'd be like, oh, that was really poor from Wes. So you're expecting him to save a lot of these. Anyway, 39th minute, we get a really, really big chance from a back pass. So back pass from a Coventry player. He's just trying to, I don't think this was a back pass. I really don't. But I don't know who it was, central midfielder, I think. He's just trying to get something on the ball to get it away from one of our players. And he manages to flick it towards Simon Moore. Simon Moore picks the ball up literally in his 6-yard box. And it's given as a free kick, an indirect free kick to the Blades. Now, we've all seen these before, and they're very, very hard to score from. I said to my dad straight away, we need Alan Shearer taking this. And I always remember Alan Shearer scoring against somebody for England, where I think it was Sheringham kind of backheeled it, and Shearer smashed it into the roof of the net. Now, we don't have Alan Shearer. We don't really want Alan Shearer, not at this age anyway. Conor Hourahan, the ball's flicked to him by, I think it was Gibbs-White. It's actually a good effort, but there were so many bodies in the way that the only way you were going to get anything from that was either a defender hitting the hand or just it hitting a defender and going in. I just felt like it had to be tried to hammer it, hammer it high, because that's the only place where there was any sort of goal to aim at. And Hourahan hits it side-footed, a lot of pace on it. The defender went down holding his nads, but I don't know. It could have come off his arm, and he could have been pretending that it's hit him somewhere that it shouldn't have done. But I don't know. I didn't see it back. It was, it wasn't the best of shots anyway. I'll put it that way. It was straight at the wall when you needed to find a corner or go high. But yeah, that was a big chance. Conor Hourahan, quite a few fell to him today. That was obviously the closest that he came. But straight after that, as soon as the ball gets kind of not recycled, but as soon as the ball gets blocked, it goes out to their left wing, and they are on. They are 4-on-2 or something like that. And the ball is going down the left-hand side. It's played inside. They've got 3 men where we've got 0 men. We've got 2 men at the top of the pitch. I think it was Ozzy and maybe Robinson, someone like that. And they're both on the right wing. And they've got like 4 or 5 men running through on goal. It was like bloody Mighty Ducks at times today. And one-on-one with Wes. I think it was Alan who was one-on-one. Hits it pretty much straight at Wes. It's a good save from Wes. He's kind of going to his left and his arms are there and he stops it. Very good save. He should have put that ball in the back of the net, to be honest. But shocking defending. 46th minute, just before half-time, O'Hare has a volley that just goes over the bar onto the roof of the net. Wes did look like he was struggling for that one, to be fair. He looked round. He was completely stood still, and he kind of made a little sigh like, I'm glad that didn't go in. I was struggling there. So we go into half-time. I'm thinking the worst, to be honest, at this point, because we've been run ragged in this game. And I was like, thank God we've got to half-time because we are getting battered here. So then we kind of start the quickest in the second half. Morgan Gibbs-White and Sharp link up, but Gibbs-White's pass isn't quite strong enough to Sharpie to take it into his path and have a shot. But great little bit of link-up play with those two. If it would have just been a little bit better, would have been through one-on-one and Sharpie would have probably put the ball in the back of the net. And then literally a minute later, Sander Berge hits a shot from distance. Very, very good shot. Lot on it, but Moore's never going to be struggling there. It's just going to Moore's right, Sander Berge's left, and he's saving them all day long. Moore is a very, very capable goalkeeper at this level. And then literally 3 minutes later, the 50th minute, it's a shambles of a goal to concede. Coventry go 2-1 up. They are clean through on the angle. Now, I don't know how he's got the better of Egan from there. The ball's played through. Egan's completely lost his man. And then I think he kind of catches something. And he's literally running forward with his head forward. And he's just tripping up and he can't kind of get his feet. And he finally gets to his feet. But they're already one-on-one with Wes. Striker has a shot. Wes makes a good save. Again, quite at him. It was just, he's got his hands out here and he saved it. It's rolling towards the goal, and it looks like that is ending up in the back of the net. It hits the post, comes back out, and I think Wes himself thinks this is going in the back of the net because he flies at it to try and scoop it out. But because it's hit the post, it's kind of come back at him. And when he's trying to get rid of it, he is actually, I think he completely missed it, and then his legs touched it, and then I don't know. It was so avoidable, but I don't know actually who scored the goal because it came off Wes and it came off Egan and then Gordon. I don't know. I really, really don't know, but it was definitely avoidable by Egan, Wes, Gordon, everyone. I don't know how that ended up in the back of the net, but did their player even get a touch on it after it hit the post? I'm not too sure, but somehow it was scrambled into the back of the net and mostly from us. It was just a shambles at the back all day long today. It really was. And in the 56th minute, another corner comes in. They've headed it against the post. I think it was Kyle McFadden who actually went to my school. I think he came through the ranks at Sheffield United similar time as Billy Sharp as well, because Kyle McFadden is a year older than me. And his brother is 2 or 3 years younger than me, Callum. But I think it's him that gets ahead on the ball, hits the post, hands on his head. He thinks he's scored. He thinks he's made it 3-1. And then Billy Sharp manages to get the ball away. And then 59th minute, 3 minutes later, Coventry go 3-1 up. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably over now. 60th minute, we've got 30 minutes left. Sheffield United of kind of midweek would have seen that and gone for it. But no, we didn't have it in the tank today. We just were rubbish. And really, again, it's not. I'm not blaming the attackers. It was all the defense today. They were terrible. But it would have been nice to have at least got another goal back, made it a little bit more respectable, because we've ruined our goal difference going from beating Borough 4-1, getting a +3 on the league table, and then going and throwing away a -3. It's not what we want to see. It's really not, especially at this end of the season. So yeah, they go 3-1 up. 3 or 4 men stood watching their number 17 just waltz into the box, not putting a challenge in at all. John Egan just stood there, letting him run at him, just letting him move the ball from side to side, and then he flicks the ball through. Gordon's kind of napping, and he gets in and fires the ball with his left foot into the corner. No chance for Wesley. Foderingham for that one. But there was 𝐍𝐸, there was Norwood, there was 4 Sheffield United defenders stood around their players, did not put a challenge in once. Now, I'm not expecting to fly in with a Charlie Good challenge, but just get onto them, pressurize them, press them, stop them from easily just flicking the ball through, because the 4th goal was very, very similar. Not in the sense of it was the same sort of goal. It was the same sort of defending from Sheffield United Football Club. It just wasn't good enough. They actually played like Borough did. Sorry, they actually played how we did against Borough, against us, and we played how Borough did. Like, they were all over us, pressing us constantly, and we don't like that. But for me, the biggest problem was that long ball all day long, or them through balls that we just could not get a hold of. Really, really not good enough. Really not good enough. And then the 4th goal comes literally 8 minutes later, 20 minutes to go, 22 minutes to go. And it's terrible defending again. It really is. There's 3 men round there, 1 player on the edge of the box. There is 𝐍𝐸. I can't remember who the other 2 were, but 𝐍𝐸's kind of just stood there, just biting at his heels. I think Sanderberg is another one of them, and somebody else. And they're all just stood round, just letting him turn. And then he flicks the ball through. Jack Robinson is... He just loses his man, and then he flicks it back across goal, and they tap in for 4-1. Shocking. Wes obviously flies out trying to stop him, because I think we all expected a shot from there. But he did really well to just kind of find his teammate in the middle of the box for an easy tap in. So that's 4-1. Not good enough, but it could have easily been 8 or 9 goals today, maybe even more, as we were constantly getting caught on the break. We brought McBurney on at 60th minute, something like that, to try and change the game. Like, that's ever going to happen. I'd rather have brought Jebbo on for the legs, to be honest, because McBurney's literally got no pace whatsoever. At least Jebbo's got, he's a little bit quicker. McBurney came on and then came off. I think was it a groin injury, something like that? I think I heard that. So McBurney's come off, so that could be another injury. Not that he ever offers anything when he comes off the bench anyway. And really, for me, ladies and gents, I think that this was very, very similar to the Blackburn game. Now, I've already mentioned that earlier on for those that weren't in at that point. They were constantly catching us on the break, constantly. And it's horrible to watch. It really is. When your team are playing terrible at the back, don't get me wrong, but it's constantly 3s on 2s, 4s on 3s, 5s on 4s, 5s on 3s sometimes. When it's constantly the attack have got more men forward than the defense have got back, it's just you're constantly on the edge of your seat. Like, oh, God, we're going to concede. Oh, we're going to concede. And Wes did save us a lot today. He really did. There were others that I haven't spoken about that when they got through and Wes made a save. So Wes did have a good game, but he also did make a couple of big errors as well, in my opinion. I just want to talk about a few players. I don't want to bang on for too long because this is not one that many people are going to watch, I wouldn't have thought, because it was such a bad game to watch. They don't want to relive it, some people. But also, I don't really want to talk about it because we were that bad. And hopefully this is one that you just sweep under the carpet and then move on to the next game, because we had a really bad game against Millwall when we created nothing and let in a sloppy goal where Egan got blocked off and it was an easy header past Foderingham. But we offered nothing going forward in that game. We offered a little bit more going forward in this game. But yeah, hopefully this is a game where they have a go at each other in the dressing room and they get it right for the next game. They are up for that Blackpool game. But it's another away game. I would have liked to have seen a home game next so that the fans can get behind him and just kind of cheer them on to a victory at home. But I'll just talk about a few players. Sanderberger, other than scoring the goal, and having a couple of shots from far out. I don't think he really created much today. Morgan Gibbs-White didn't, but you could see he was constantly trying. Sander Berge just walks around the pitch like he's not. He just constantly looks like he's not trying. And I don't know how we've signed Sander Berge as a defensive midfielder. Now, I know that we're playing in a more forward position, and I know that's where he is best for us. But in defensive midfield, when he went back there, when Iliman Ndiaye came on, he just didn't put any challenges in whatsoever. He was walking around. He wasn't running around. I'd have had him off. I'd have had him off and left Norwood on, because at least Norwood gets himself about the pitch. Even though he's a hell of a lot slower than Sander Berge and he's not as powerful. But Sander doesn't show his power as a defensive midfielder. He shows his power going forward. So really disappointed with Sander Berge today. Obviously scored the goal, took it really well. And if we'd have defended as we should have done, then this could have been a completely different conversation about Sander Berge. But it wasn't. It was a poor defensive display by all of them. All of them. Ozzy, I'm not going to blame too much. Norrington Davis, I thought was particularly poor in a lot of the game today. But the back three, the central defensive partnership, the three defenders were. This is the worst I've seen. I think this is the worst I've seen those three play together. Gordon, I don't want to blame him too much. He's still only a young lad. He's not played many games, but he was particularly poor today. Egan was, I think, the worst defender on the pitch today, because he should be marshalling those defenders, and he really wasn't today. He's supposed to be leading by example. He really didn't today. And just a really, really bad day at the office for Jack Robinson as well, because Jack missed that header earlier on. And you know what Jack Robinson's like. When he makes one mistake, he makes multiple mistakes. And it gets in his head, and he starts making bad decisions, taking too much time on the ball, not moving the ball quick enough, and getting caught and just getting caught. Everything was wrong. I'm going to blame Egan more than Jack Robinson, though, because Egan should have been better than that. Should have been a hell of a lot better than that. And the fact that Egan was just stood around, just letting them do whatever they want. He needed to get stuck in, and he did get stuck in with about 5 minutes to go. And I wanted to see that all game. I want to see him getting in strikers' faces and sticking the boot in. That's what I want to see. And he wasn't until we were 4-1 down and the game was over. Sharpie didn't really have much of a look in. He tried to get away a couple of times and get a few shots in. He had a shot that Simon Moore tipped over, a really good volley. But that was about it, really. Morgan Gibbs-White wasn't really his day today. I just feel like if Gibbs-White doesn't particularly create much, we don't really create much. And I would like to see Iliman Ndiaye playing in the next game with Gibbs-White and with Billy Sharp. I've got a feeling that Sander Berge is going to keep his place because he scored a goal, but I don't think he had a great game today. I really don't. And I don't want to see him in a defensive role either, a defensive midfield role. So that's about it for me, really. Jebo came on, but didn't really get anywhere near enough chances to kind of shine in this game. But yeah, let's hear what you guys have got to say. Michael, painfully embarrassing with the exception of Wes. Going by that bad performance, I fear the same again in the next game against Blackpool. I agree, but they've got to get themselves up for this next game. They've really got to. Absolutely shocking. That's from Scott. We have to win against Blackpool for redemption. Yeah, we do. We really do. They could have scored 7. Do you know what? I said earlier on, Scott, that they could have scored 8, 9, 10 goals. I really do think they could. Let's hope Luton and QPR draw tomorrow. Yeah, we're got to hope that. The only saving grace that we've really got today is that Middlesbrough drew 0-0. Blackburn somehow lost at home to Bristol City. There's no point talking about Fulham. We are way, way, way off that. But yeah, the teams around us, other than Forest, did not win. So if there's a draw between QPR and Luton tomorrow, then that's good. That's really good. Are they playing each other? Sorry, I don't think I know that. The goals they scored were so scummy. You could say that, but actually, you got to blame our defence, not them at all. Where was Good? Good was actually injured, which is Very, very frustrating, seeing as though he's had 3 games on the sidelines and now he's picked up a blooming injury. Absolutely baffling bringing McBurney on when we need a goal and some pace. Shocking. I don't like laying into him too much, but he was yeah, he really was. He really. I don't understand why you would bring McBurney on, but it's not about McBurney today. The defense were appalling. From brilliant to shocking in less than a week. Classic roller coaster blades. Yeah, definitely. Every week, I remember Tufty Club saying on their podcast that every week we're like, oh, we're going to get in playoffs, we're going to get up. And then the next week we're like, oh, no, we're just a mid-table team. And then we went on that huge run and we're thinking we are world beaters now. If we play like this every week, we are going to easily win the playoffs. But that just shows that we're not going to play like that every week. We're really not. And I was a little bit worried going into this game because we always seem to have a really, really good performance and then go and play shocking in the next week. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't... I hope that we come back from this because quite a lot of the time we do have a shocking performance, but then we bounce back really well. So let's hope that that's what happens. Massive reality check today, but take 10 players out of our team this league and they'd struggle like we have today. Absolutely. We've got so many players out in so many big positions. We've lost 2 strikers in McGoldrick and Brewster, whereas McGoldrick also creates those goals as well. We could have brought McGoldrick on today to change the game, which he would have done, or he would have offered something slightly different. Bogle on that right-hand side, Baldock on that right-hand side. He is actually a right back rather than playing a left back there. Having to put 7 youth players that were in the youth teams last season, most of which were in the under-23s. I think Arblaster might have been in the 18s. I'm not too sure about that. It might have been in the 23s. But 5 out of the 7 that were in the youth team last season just shows you where we are, how decimated we've been. Brought back down to earth with a bump. Yeah, Phil, you're not wrong there, mate. Karen Gordon was absolutely pathetic today too. I can't think of a single pass he actually completed. Yeah, Laporta, I would have put Laporta in there, to be honest. I really, really would. But I think Laporta's a bit more of a central centre-back rather than a right centre-back. But saying that, we just need some lads that are going to get heads on balls and not going to get absolutely mugged off like we did today. Bad day at the office. We had these days when we went up last time. We move on. Thanks, Carl. I think a lot of people need to hear that, including myself. Current City were the better team. Sheffield United played anti-boring, dull, defensive, pragmatic football. Well, we certainly didn't play defensive football. Did you not see how we played? I'm assuming that is a Coventry City fan. And trust me, mate, we do not play like that every week. We really don't. Like John says, from brilliant to shocking in less than a week. Yeah, classic Blaze roller coaster. How can you be so poor after Borough? No idea. No idea. That's why these players aren't playing in the Premier League, though, aren't they? Because some weeks they play really well, some weeks they don't. Only United can do this. It's hard being a United eye. It really is, mate. It really is. Morgan Gibbs White will be hard to keep. Now 4 clubs are after him. Yeah, true. Blame the lack of investment. Yeah, well, we did bring in a lot of loan players that we probably couldn't have afforded, where we definitely couldn't have afforded if we'd have tried to buy them. Morgan Gibbs White probably worth 25, 30 million. Ben Davis is coming from Liverpool, probably on a lot of money. Would probably be at least 6, 7, 8, 10 million. I don't know. Conor Howrahan, another one that's probably on big wages as well. I don't think it's a lack of investment, to be honest. We've brought in a lot of players in January, and we really did. Oh, let me think. No, that was earlier in the season. Apologies. Yeah, you're possibly right. Yeah, my brain's frazzled right now. Better to lose from these than teams around us. Yeah, you're possibly right, but they are only 3 points behind us now. What changes would you make for the Blackpool game, Nick? I would put in if Good, Baldock, or Basham are fit, we need as many experienced players as possible for me. So what I would do is I would bring back. I can't see Bash being fit, but Baldock I can see possibly being fit in the next game. Baldock needs to come back in. Reece Davis out. Ozzy over to the left-hand side. I would possibly bring in Laporta to right centre-back just so we've got someone a bit stronger in defence as well. I'm not Nick, but I would have good Davis Baldock in. There we go. Yeah, exactly that. 4-1 down on your big day out. Certainly not our big day out, mate. We're still 5th in the league. Don't worry about it. Shocking today. Kept getting done by Bulls over the top constantly. It is very, very frustrating to see, isn't it? We'll be ready. We will make the playoffs, then be promoted. Easy. I like that, Neil. I really, really do like that. I mean, is there any bad news? I don't know what that means. I'm sure you're going to go easy on Gordon, Nick, but he was absolutely shocking. Didn't realise we'd recall the Porter. He's much better defensively. Well, I don't think I've been. I think I've been maybe slightly easier on Gordon because he's a young lad. But I did say he had a poor game. He had a really poor game. He made a lot of poor decisions. He wasn't very strong in certain situations, and that's what you need in the championship. At the top end of the championship, really, when you need it, you need those big characters. And yeah, he got bullied today. Nick, imagine being Darlington fan. We were made bankrupt in 2011, reformed in 2012. Demoted 4 leagues. We're currently a fan-owned national. Oh, that's. Do you know what? Being a fan-owned team is also great, though. It really is. But no, that's shocking. I'm sorry to hear that, Ian. I really am. Where was Ben Davis? He picked up an injury. I saw it on Twitter earlier on. I can't remember, but he did pick up an injury. I think it was yesterday. So that's why I'm not sure how serious that's going to be. I'm sure we'll hear from Hecky in the week whether he's going to be back. I thought we were United, not Borough. Okay. Ben Davis picked up a knock. There we go. We are so far away from our first team. Yep, absolutely right. And you know what? Going into the last few games of the season, hopefully, you never know, we might have a few more players back and we might end up not having to field so many youngsters and putting so many youngsters on the bench. I don't really Gordon at all, but he's young, so fans don't care. I'm not sure what that means, really. I don't think we don't care. We want our team to do well. But yeah, he had a poor game. I don't think we need to keep harping on about how poor he was because there was 2 other centre-backs that were also really poor as well. Come on, guys. Do you think we will stay in the playoff places? I think it's, I don't know. I think we'll be in and out. After the Borough game, I thought we were going to be in there for the whole time. I thought we were going to win today. I thought we were going to get either a point or a win against Blackpool. And then I thought we were just going to coast, not winning every game, but we're going to probably get in 4 points from every 2 games or something like that. But yeah, it's one of them things. It really, really is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there because I've been talking for way longer than I wanted to. It was a bad day at the office. Really, really terrible. Defense was shocking. Midfield wasn't much better. Attack wasn't much better. But yeah, probably Wes is the only one that can kind of hold his head up high, but he did make a couple of mistakes in there. But yeah, on to the next game, Blackpool midweek. Let's see which team turns up, whether it's the Sheffield United that played Borough or the Sheffield United that played Coventry today. Thanks a lot. Up the Blades.